continues to show up, that continues to get better. Because as you get better, things get better. And it's just part of the process, right? Just part of the process. Because eventually, I mean, we all have goals, we all have visions, but a leader has to have a vision as well, right? Like I know it's crazy because I'm gonna pick on Nate real quick, but I just remember like it was yesterday. We were in the church on a Friday night training, and one of his goals, I think it was like, and he can correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was like 30 by 30 or something like that. But back in the day, 30 by 30 was a big thing. You know what I mean? So it's like it was a big thing. But Nate's like, man, when I look back at those times, I wish I would have thought bigger, right? And so, but it's important too, though. The good thing is he had a vision in place, right? Even though at the time it may have been smaller than what he wanted, but he still had a vision in place to where it allowed everybody else to fit inside it. Because like as an organization, I'm pretty sure Coop, like you may say, hey, I can do 5 by 5, but my vision for the organization may be 30 by 30 or 50 by 50. Right. And so you got to have a big enough vision to where other people fit inside and you're all working towards the common goal.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing as well too. It's like that's kind of why I really heard from you guys too. It's influence, right? It's having, lack of vision. People perish, right? So having that vision in front of people and then having that servitude heart, keeping in mind of like, hey, I still got to do what I got to do regardless of what's happening in my life as well too. I got to show up as that leader that I am as well. And I guess, I it really sets the tone as well too. And I guess like what has been like the biggest like I guess like biggest thing that you had to learn in leadership when it comes to building a team here, guys? Like what have you kind of seen that I guess you're like, man, you really need to have this have this attribute, I would say,
Yeah,
when it
that's a
comes.
great question.
Yeah.
With building a team, one of the biggest things that I've learned is leaders can't go MIA, right? Leaders can't go MIA. Like you're responsible for other people. Other people have attached their wagon to you. Other people have given you permission to lead them. And you just you got to show up. Even when it's not, popular or in your best interest or it's very inconvenient, you have to continue to show up. I'll give you guys a good example. Like a lot of you know that I dealt with some health issues back at the beginning of 2021. Still got those things going on. They haven't disappeared. It's going to be, something I deal with until I get a transplant, and I'll still be dealing with them. But I remember like my team did not know. They had no clue. It was wild. Like I was running trainings. I spent like a month in the hospital. I was running trainings from, running our Tuesday, Fridays, and Sunday trainings from a hospital bed. Nobody knew. I finally had to break the news to somebody because I couldn't like make a
Wow.
meeting or something because I was in some special treatment where I couldn't be on my phone and stuff. And I had to tell them like, hey, I can't. And I told them why, because I just didn't want them to think I was just missing out. Like, hey, like this was like life or death.
Yeah.
But like, this to kind of give you guys an idea. So when you got your teammate texting you or calling you, like communicating and not letting them go, texting messages and emails go unreplied to for days and these type of things. It just can't happen in that leadership role. Like you have to be a present leader. Even if it's a very minimum presence. It has to happen. You can't neglect your people. That would be my thought on that.
No, it's good though because you say you can't go into the witness protection program, right? Like even though you were going through some challenging times in your life, I'm pretty sure you're like, hey, it'd be easy for me to not show up while I take care of this. But you have people looking up to you. And honestly, sometimes what you're going through can really inspire people that they can go through it as well. Like, oh, you know what? Jerome's human. So he has problems just like me. Because a lot of times they look at people like you can look at someone like Nate that's smiling every day and you have no idea what's going on behind closed doors, right? But you look at him, and then when you finally hear that story one day, he has the stage and he's sharing his story, like, wow, he went through all that. Man, that guy's incredible. That guy's amazing. And then, but again, it's like for me, it's like because I like for example, I'm using Nate a lot because I just know, we've been in it together, and so I've known some things that he's gone through. And when I look at some things that he's going through, how he shows up, I'm like, that's what I want to do. So I know, like, okay, I got to be strong just like him and go through and just let people know, like, hey, it's okay that you're going through stuff, but it's not what you're going through; it's what you're going through. I know you hear that a lot, right? Like we all go through stuff, right? But there's never going to be a perfect time in life where things are just going to go your way. You're always going to have some adversity. You're always going to have things come at you. I use the rain X, right? You gotta bounce it off, right? You just gotta bounce it off and just keep going, and just keep loving on people. And I think that's the biggest thing as a leader, right? Loving on your people and loving them for where they're at, right? You don't want to have expectations on people like, oh man, Kia, you got to go out and do 10 by 10. And then when she doesn't do it and she does 9 by 9, you're pissed off, right? No, that's not a leader. Like, hey, great job doing that. Or like she does 1 by 1 or whatever the case may be, loving your people for where they're at and just continue to encourage them and uplift them and show them the way, because everybody does this thing differently. And you have to understand that. You got to stop getting so upset that when people aren't doing the work, you as a leader got to do the work. You got to keep doing it. And I think that's the battle too. Sometimes we get so comfortable that we start building the team. We want to sit back and being like override Prime America. No, you got to keep doing it. You got to keep building, right? And as you're going through that process, loving your people, continue to get better, because whatever your people bring to the table, it's a blessing, and you should be excited for whatever they bring in and be grateful that they brought that to the table. And look at them as like people and not dollar signs, right? And so maybe that goes to like servant leadership, what you guys mentioned earlier, but just
Yeah.
having that great heart posture.
Well, Terrell, you just opened up a whole can of worms too, honey. Like it's kind of beautiful to think about as well too, because if you guys haven't read the book, there's a great book out there about empowerment versus disempowerment culture when it comes to building teams, when it comes to building organizations. And you have to see the difference of kind of what Darrell said, love on your people. Like everybody is a future $1 million earner on this call. And you have to keep that in mind as well too, because hey, maybe it takes somebody a few years, maybe it takes somebody a couple years, maybe it takes somebody a couple decades to become $1 million earner in this business. You cannot discount them. You cannot disempower them for that vision. And so that's something so powerful within this as well too, you guys, and I think this will kind of end us out greatly as well too, but you have to empower your people like that they're that future $1 million earner. If you create that disempowerment, that doesn't create people wanting to stick around or wanting to be present. And that's something so powerful about leadership. And I guess, and rounding us out tonight too, you guys, like, I bet we have some folks on here that maybe are still learning about leadership. Maybe they're like, well, how do you even build leadership skills? How do we even develop these things? And I guess, like, what would you tell somebody today? Like, this is like maybe the number one or maybe number a couple ways that we need to implement to grow as a leader. What could they do?
Yeah, it's leadership. When I hear the word leadership, I hear action.
Yeah.
So you gotta take action, and you gotta take action on before you want to get into this. It's not like a title. Like you think like, oh, I got to be a regional vice president to be a leader. Oh, I got to be a field trainer to be a leader. No, you can be a leader right where you are. Right? I remember early on when we were back when we did everything in person, before I had the title of regional vice president and all that jazz, right? I wanted to operate as a leader, right? I remember coming in, I would set up trainings and I would greet people at the door. I would vacuum. I would make sure the bathrooms were clean. That's the stuff that leaders do that you don't normally see, right? But like that little stuff that see a car runs, but it doesn't just you think like, oh, because it has the motor. Yeah, the motor is a big part of it, but it's all these other small pieces that have to be in part. Like for example, my dad works at Chrysler. He's getting ready to retire. He's responsible for, but early on in his career, he was responsible for like doing antennas and stuff like that. Like an antenna is not like a big deal, right? But it's a part of the whole thing that keeps that has the whole vehicle do its job, right? And so just doing these little things like that, showing up on time, staying a little late, communicating in the chat, having your camera on. These are all leadership qualities. So when I hear leadership, I hear action. I hear taking action on these very minute little things that you think don't matter, but they really do matter overall.
That's good. And we can keep expanding on that. I mean, there's a lot of great attributes of a leader. Communication is key, right? I think that's very important that you are communicating effectively with your people and being honest, right? Like a lot of times, I know sometimes, like myself included, sometimes we're afraid to have those tough conversations. But I think the more you have those tough and honest conversations, the more people gain a respect for you, right? Because at the end of the day, like in this business, we all want to grow, we all want to get better. And so I'm going to tell you what you want to hear, or I'm going to tell you the truth, right? Like, oh yeah, hey, yeah, you're doing good, just keep going, but you're not really doing good, right? Or you're not making the income or you're stuck, right? And so I think a leader has to be able to point that out in an empowering way, right? Make someone say, okay, you know what? Thanks, Dan. I appreciate you pointing that out to me. How can I grow? How can I get better? And then the leader is like innovative and say, hey, let's put together a game plan that we can work together and work towards a common goal. Because it's important, me personally, I don't want somebody just to tell me, like, you probably hear me all the time, like Nate will tell you, Jerome, probably Kia, like anytime I talk or whatever, I'm always asking, hey, what can I do to get better? Because I want to improve, but I'm going to ask people that are going to be honest with me, not, oh, bro, you crushed it. I mean, I appreciate that, but be honest with me too. Like, tell me what can I do to get better so I can correct. Because maybe sometimes I don't see things right. I mean, we're all our biggest critic, and I'm like, oh man, I'm the best. But hey, no, bro, you need to fix that, or you're too arrogant, or this and that, right? Tell me so I can improve and get better. And so those are kind of like some of my takes.
Yeah, that's beautiful, you know, and and round us out because we're getting started here pretty soon too, you guys. Like, that's the power of becoming a leader, like leading direction for your people, growing the purpose of what they came here to do within this business. And, you know, at the same time, I just love what you guys kind of shared. Like, you got to be real with people. You have to be raw. You have to be authentic, but you have to be empowering about it as well, too, because maybe somebody doesn't get the story delivered to them the way that they want it to. Right. And so it's just beautiful to hear from you guys. You guys have so much great experience of being in this business and so much wisdom to share. I'm honored to be on this with y'all too, because you guys have a lot greater wisdom and more experience than I have been here. And it's just beautiful to share the space with you guys. So, hey guys, thanks for this great talk. I'm excited to, you know, get us kicked off for training tonight as well too, y'all. Welcome. Happy Friday Night Live to y'all. Man, guys, can you do me a huge solid tonight? Can you blow up the chat like nobody's business? We want to know that y'all are alive, you're ready, and you feel great because you guys are spending the time and investing the time on being on an incredible fire train. Hey, can you guys do that for me? Can you drop in the chat? Can you guys do me that huge favor tonight? Hey, yeah, I want to know that you guys are excited and fired up and ready to learn. So happy Friday Night Live, y'all. I'm Regional Vice President Jackie Potter, excited to rock and roll with you guys tonight. I'm excited to have the privilege of being able to share with you guys what's going on in our incredible company, y'all. You know, we got some greatness to deliver tonight. I get to share announcements with y'all. So guys, drop announcements in the chat so I know you're listening, right? I want to hear what's going on. But hey, let's set some ground rules. Let's set a great even playing field, right? So guys, proud of you guys that were on for this and fire incredible panel, y'all, that you got to see little snippets, right? So be on time, be early, right? Guys, I encourage you to take notes tonight. I encourage you to have your cameras on. So we're engaged. We see you guys getting fired up, excited about this train because, hey, what you do for your leaders will do for you, and your team will do for you as well. And guys, lead, learn, and find and apply what you're learning tonight. So that's the biggest thing that we want to implement with you guys tonight. But hey, this is a gentle reminder, y'all. My friends that are securities licensed, renewals are due December 12th. So payments can be made in your Primerica Online, your POL, under the payment center. So make sure you guys, hey, those of you securities licensed, drop securities in the chat. Make sure you get your renewals done, you guys. And hey, listen, man, I know some of y'all been taking advantage of this incredible incentive that we have going on for veterans. Thank you for those that have served. If we have anybody that served, hey, drop it in the chat. Thank you so much for your service as well too. But the IBA licensing fee is waived for military between now and month end. So guys, let's go recruit the world. Let's go serve, right? Serve. And guys, man, this is the final month, y'all. How many of you guys check to see if you're in some running spots to win Seize the Thrill for Orlando, you guys? How many of you guys been watching this bad boy, right? So guys, this is the last month. So check with your leaders if you guys haven't checked the boards for this as well too. But guys, this is the final month. Let's get after it for Seize the Thrill and Universal. And hey, we can't forget about the other trip y'all are fighting for. How many of you guys are fighting for this bad boy? Breakaway to the Bay in San Diego, California. Guys, you are competing right now. This is the starting month. This is the starting gate, right? So this goes till if you guys see till May, you got some time, but don't let it slip away for you guys as well too. So make sure you're making things happen for you guys as well too. And this is a great reminder for y'all. How many of you guys are working on getting licensed? Or how many of you guys passed your exam, right? So you guys get to earn a 2%er shirt for becoming life licensed between now and the end of the year. So guys, go make it happen. Regional vice presidents, go make some badness happen for your team and be among the top 500 for new life licenses. You get that nice little swag, that nice polo shirt. How many of you guys want to win that, right? But guys, this is a cool one for you guys as well too. You know, new reps, you have a lot of opportunities to make some dollars. Drop dollars in the chat, y'all. Dollar bills, y'all. Hey, make sure you have these opportunities through things that you can make money while you're working on getting licensed, y'all. That's the beautiful thing about this business. So this is all in addition to your field train bonus. So take a screenshot as well too, because hey, there's ways to grow and make an impact and make some income off of our other products and services that we have as well too, y'all. So, but hey, you know, one thing that I love too, the home and auto, you guys, you get an additional $75 bonus if you help 3 closed personal auto and home. So guys, you can just make money just off of referring folks to maybe some home insurance, auto insurance. There's just so many great things that you're able to do for that. So that's all in addition, y'all. And hey, guys, you'll get to see tonight, hey, who's registering for East Coast Builder School in Clearwater, Florida, you guys, in January. Guys, early bird ends this weekend. So make sure you are registered as well too. Make sure you're registered. And like how I said, scan for your tickets. If you guys haven't purchased your tickets yet, shout out to those that are. I see a lot of you guys drop in the chat. Hey, I can't wait to see y'all in Florida because you're going to be surrounded by several $million-dollar earners that have paved the way and are going to teach you how to grow your business and how to make a stellar impact within our organization. So guys, I can't wait to see y'all there. Make sure you're registered as well too. But hey, without further ado, we're going to kick this bad boy off. I'm so excited. I get to introduce one of our first incredible speakers of the night to you guys. Hey, out of, well, it's kind of cool, man, out of South Carolina now, right? Regional vice president. He is going to be near term $300,000 earner with him and his wife, Taylor, as well. Guys, that leads to ownership within this business, by the way. But he is going to be talking to you guys about how you can grow your activity here, how you can set the stage, how you can really grow within your business as well, too. So, guys, drop Dan Roma in the chat, brother. I'm going to have you take it away.
All right, guys. Hey, what's going on? Excited to spend some time with you all tonight. Sorry about the lighting situation here. We are at a friend's house who is cutting both mine and Taylor's hair, and so taking a little bit longer than I thought it would be. So no light. Apologize for that, but y'all will get over it. Okay, I can turn my hat around if you want me to. Anyway, so guys, I want to talk to you guys about something that Art Williams talks about all the time. And he says, if we ever stop talking about this, that we're going to lose everything in our business. And we're talking about the multiples tonight. Okay. So if I can figure out how to share my screen on Zoom, it's like it's my first day or something here. Hang on. Figure out how to share my screen. There we go. So we are going to talk through the multiples of our business. And the first thing I want to just ask you to do first is just if you could say a quick prayer and just, God, please let me hear it this time, right? Like, please let me understand what this business could actually be. Because I don't know about you. I don't know about you guys. I know about the VPs because we talk about it. But I don't know about a lot of you below our VPs. You haven't gotten it yet, right? It hasn't clicked yet. And that's okay. It takes some exposure before it really hits. It takes your camera being on, you being engaged, you being locked in, right? It takes that for a season for it to hit for you. But I just really pray that for some of you, that for one person on this call tonight, that it really finally hits you. I'd rather have 1% off the effort of 100 men than 100% off my own effort. That's a quote by J. Paul Getty. This man understands diversifying his income. right? Like you want to have a diversified investment portfolio, but you want to have an income off of only you. That doesn't make any sense, right? And they're like, well, if I get a good job, yeah, if you get a good job until you're not able to do the good job anymore because of an illness or a situation takes place, your income's only secure if you can go, right? But you have 100% of your income based off one different person, or sorry, the other way around, 1% of your income based off 100 different people. Well, now you have a secure income, right? 100 of your people aren't dying all in the same day, right? 100 of your people aren't going down at the same time, right? Like Nate and Mel talked last week about in the hospital, 13 grand in the hospital, didn't do hardly any appointments last month, right? Like that's awesome. Welcome to new child in onto this earth, made $13,000 virtually entirely passive, right? That's incredible. What would it look like in your life if that was what was happening? Right. So prepare to be amazed and prepare to be dazzled by what you're going to see here. I'm serious. Some of you are like, oh, this is super corny. No, you got to understand this. And when this hits you deep inside your bones, you'll figure it out. Citigroup bought out Art Williams. Y'all understand Art Williams, a Georgia football coach, started a business that revolutionized the life insurance industry basically out of his garage. I mean, it wasn't actually out of his garage, but essentially, I mean, like if you look at the story, if you read any of the books, I mean, this thing should not have existed. This should have failed so many times. Citigroup, y'all know the little umbrella Citibank, like that organization bought Art Williams out of Primerica for $1 billion. With a B, everybody type billion in the Zoom chat, because I don't know about you, but for me, like that's incredible, right? This dude just exploded his business, right? And I'm gonna teach you. I'm stealing this straight from a Bill Arender talk, but it's awesome. I love it. It's hilarious. Can I teach you 2 Latin words? If you know it, don't cheat. So the first one is day, right? It's something from the gods. Everybody type day in the Zoom chat. So day. And then something neither male or female, right? So you put them together, right? When you put those 2 things together, when it blows your mind, and it's the word damn, right? Like, damn, that's incredible, right? Like, holy crap, right? And so every time you see something tonight that is neither male nor female and it blows your mind, I want you to put that word day in the chat. Don't swear, because I'll tell your mom. But day and are 2 different words, right? But I'm being silly, but I'm also being serious, because when you understand what this could be for you and what this could be for your family, right? I always wonder what would have happened if my wife didn't get on a Zoom call with some random stranger on the internet on a Thursday morning. What would my life look like, right? Like, it literally scares me. Like, Nate, I bet you wonder all the time, like, what would have happened if you didn't reach out, or Ian didn't reach out to you and set up that appointment, right? Like what would have happened, Jerome, if you didn't go to that Starbucks or whatever it was when you met with John Cooper? Like, what would have happened, Jarrell, if Jessica Bruckner didn't get your number at T-Mobile? Like, what would that look like? Right? Jerome might have gotten it eventually, but sometime, somewhere, someone would have, like, your life would not be like, it would be crazy. Right. And guys, there's been more $1 million earners in Primerica in the last 6 months than I feel like in the last, 3 years since I started. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Don't quote me, but it feels like there's, every time I open POL, there's a new couple, new income milestone, million here, 7 million there, 8 million here. And like, your goal might not be to be $1 million earner, and that's fine. Like, no one's going to get mad at you if that's not your goal. But the mere fact that that's possible here is incredible, right? The mere fact that that's possible here, that you, in all of your glory, right? You in all of your flaws and the lack of skill that you have in the financial services business and stuff like that, right? Like, you, as you are right now, has the ability to come in here and learn everything that you need to learn to make $1 million a year. That's crazy to me. Right? That's incredible. That's so awesome. Right? And people always say, well, God willing, Jerome, God willing, I'll make $100,000 this year. God willing, this is going to be able to be my business, right? God willing, I'll be able to work from home and bring my spouse home. Listen, God is willing. Are you? Like God is willing to provide for you. God is willing to bless your business, bring you good people, like take care of you in situations. Are you willing to put the work in that's required to reap the rewards in that? Right. I talked about this morning a little bit on our full-timers call. And I think, Nate, so many people come into the business and the reason they struggle isn't because they don't understand that insurance and investments buy term, like people under, but what they're so used to is walking into their job and people come to them and they have a steady paycheck. Primerica pays us so dang much money on our contract. Y'all understand it's 190% commission. No one else in the industry pays out that much on the top end. No one. But they pay out that much because we have to learn how to generate our business. Everybody type generate in the chat. You are the marketing department, right? And some of you, you're like, that's scary. I don't know how to do that. You can learn, right? Like God's willing to bless your business. Are you? The second we stop talking about Art Williams, take us out. If any one of us on this call tonight are talking about different leaders and different trainings, and you don't need to recruit, and you don't need to do this, and it's not buy term invest the difference, it's whole life, it's cash value, it's IUL. You start talking to people and we stop emulating or sounding like Art Williams, you need to just mute us and remove us from the Zoom call, right? Because Art blew this thing up, right? The combustion engine plus a paraglider. The Wright brothers figured out that if they put those two things together, they'd revolutionize the travel industry. Yes or yes? How many of you all have ever been on an airplane before, right? That wouldn't happen if these two psychopaths didn't attach a go-kart engine to a really big balsa wood wing and shoot it down the fairway, right? Like this basically what happened. They're just like, well, I think this might work. And they just decided if we take off, I don't know how we're going to land, but it'd be incredible. And 100 years, not even 100 years later, I don't actually know how long it is. Let's say 100 years. You're flying through the sky in a big metal box with a seatbelt on, like everything's fine, 6 miles above the earth, right? Like it doesn't even matter. You're just going about your day like you're driving down I-75, but you're set 30,000 feet in the sky. And you don't even think twice about it. Why? Because he revolutionized an industry so much that it became so prevalent that this is what it was supposed to be like. Well, Art Williams figured out that if we bought term and we invested the rest and we added the multiples, the multiplication of recruiting and three who get three, and we smashed those two things together, we could revolutionize not just the financial industry, the business industry. Why would a massive Citigroup corporation purchase little old Art Williams company? It wasn't because he was good at selling life insurance. I'll tell you that much, right? It was because he figured out the multiples, how to scale, how to grow. There's a reason our stock is breaking all-time highs basically every day again right now, right? It's because we've revolutionized the industry. Art Williams took 85 people to 225,000 people in 12 years. Guys, that's basically, I mean, that's almost like the equivalent right now of this Zoom call in 12 years being 200,000 people. Just think about that for a second. What would it look like? Think about it. Just think about that for a second. Man, if you had a piece of the 200,000 people, what would your life look like right now? Just a piece, just a part, just 1%. You had 2,000 people on your team 12 years from now. You're making, the math says if it's through first, you're making $2 million a year. That's incredible. Show me another place that you can do that. 15, 20 hours a week on your own time, whoever's house you want to be at, whatever state you want to be in, from home, basically entirely from home. That's the equivalent of our company right now going from 150,000 agents to 250 million agents in 12 years. That's nuts, right? So many of you guys are trying to be like this guy on your appointments and selling home and auto and Vivint and mortgages and wills and trusts. And like, you're trying to be good at everything. You're a jack of all trades. You got everything, whatever they could need, your suit coat holds it. Listen, get really good at the basic thing. Art built this business for you to get wealthy. Right? Art Williams built Primerica for you to get wealthy. We say that we want to build a regional vice president factory, but when was the last time that you recruited 10 people a month in your business? You, not your team, you. When did you sit on and close 10 recruits on your team? When was the last time? Right? You recruit to duplicate, Art recruited to multiply. Do you see the difference here? You're like, well, I'm going to go from 1 to 2, and then from 2 to 3, and then 3 to 4. Art said, I'm going to go from 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 8, 8 to 16, and he's going to blow this thing up. Right, guys? And here's the last thing I'll leave you with. I want you to imagine for a second that you're walking down this beach, rocky beach, whatever it is, and you're picking up one starfish at a time, and you're throwing them back into the ocean, right? And you're throwing them back into the ocean so the poor starfish don't die. And there's Jerome sitting up on the sidewalk, and Nate and Drell, and they're just making fun of me because they're like, this idiot's out here just throwing one starfish in at a time. He's never going to make a difference. Right. But what they're not noticing is that I go grab Jackie, and then Jackie and I go get Kia and Sharita, and we pick up Dana and Malcolm, and we grab Arden and Karen and Elion, and all of a sudden we got Cass, and now we got a whole army of people. And before these three guys realize what happened, we've cleaned the beach. And by the time they're ready to start helping, there's nothing left. Guys, some of you are going to miss the boat here, and you're going to miss your opportunity because you're sleeping on what it is that Primerica is going to be able to do for your family. Because you said, well, once I figure out how to do this, then I'll go recruit somebody. Once I figure out how to do an FNA, then I'll do it. Once I get fully licensed, then I'll do it. You're going to miss it. You're going to miss it. It should scare you that you're going to miss your opportunity here if you don't get after it. Guys, listen, I'm not telling you got to give this thing everything in your life, but you absolutely got to give it effort. You got to give it everything of the 10 hours a week that you told your trainer you'd give it, because that's what it takes, guys. 5-10 hours a week is going to get you full time here. I promise you, you got to be willing to get after it, guys. I'm so excited to bring up our next speaker and the host of an incredible panel. And he's going to be talking about investments and securities and the goodness of what we really do for families and how we can help people retire early and retire with explosive retirement incomes. And so with that, Jeff, I'm excited to hand it over to you, brother. Have an amazing panel.
Thank you, Dan. Great job. Mind blown. Took tons of notes. I hope you guys are taking notes tonight. I mean, it's just the way he described our business and what it was meant for was just fantastic. Thank you so much. Also, great job on the leadership panel earlier today to kick us off with Jarrell and Jerome and Jackie. Guys, you got to get here early. You got to get here at 6:45. Ton of nuggets that were dropped during that on how to be good leaders. So anyway, good evening, everybody. My name is Jeff Miller. I'm a regional vice president here in Primerica. I'm honored to lead a special securities panel for you guys tonight. I'd like to introduce here real quick, 3 awesome superstar people that are always helping their clients with investments. We got Regional Vice President Cassandra Rigney, we got Regional Vice President Jerome Cooper, and we got Regional Leader Kia Fry. And guys, if you're brand new in our business, the very first license that your upline will tell you to get is the life insurance license. Do that absolutely first. That's the very first thing you're going to do, because life insurance is the key to all financial planning, and it's making sure that people are properly protected if they have dependents and so on and so forth. But the second license, when you start getting here for a while, should be working on getting your securities licenses so that you can help your clients with investments. Okay, so let me start with you, Kia, first. Why is it important? Tell new people that have been here a while, maybe they've had their life license for a while and they're wondering what's the next step? What should I be doing? Tell people, Kia, why it's important to get a securities license.
Man, Jeff, that's an excellent question. First and foremost, thank you all for having me on. Good evening, everyone, to this fire training. Listen, I think that your investment license is one of the best unkept secrets in Primerica, right? And so what I have learned, because I waited to get my securities license, right? And so what I have learned is just, if you're brand new here and you're studying for your life license, once you pass that test, go straight into getting your securities license, knock out that SIE, right? You should be able to do that 2 weeks later, get your 663 and just keep on going. Why? Because just like Dan Romai said earlier, it's about the crusade, right? We keep talking about heart and what he believed in, and buy term and invest the difference, or buy term and invest the rest. How can you invest the rest if you don't have the license? So you need to be able to do the full job for your client, right? You got to be able to do your full job for your client. Otherwise, we're doing them a disservice. And one of the biggest things that I learned along the way, it's good to learn by trial and error, but it's also good to listen to the people who are speaking to you from the front, right? So as I speak to you right now, just know and understand that there will come a time where your clients will be at the end of their term. And what are you going to say to them when they're at the end of the term and they don't know what to do? They don't have any investments for themselves. They don't have anything in their savings. And now you're telling them that you have to make a decision when it comes to your life insurance, whether you're going to keep it or whether you're going to accept the cost that it's going to be at the end of that term. And most of the time, people aren't able to take advantage of that, right? And we can go into decreasing and we can get into all of those things. But at the same time, you want to make sure that you are helping your clients establish wealth. That's what sets us apart from any other financial services company in the industry. So you got to do the full job. Shame on you if you don't do the full job for your client, and make sure that they become self-insured. So that way they don't need the insurance. We're the only one that's going to stop them from paying the bill of having life insurance at the end of the day and give them that nest egg that they need in the future.
Good.
Great answer, Kia. Awesome. What about you, Cassandra? What would you tell people? Why is it so important to get their securities license?
Yeah, that was a great response. I would also say that it's really important to grab your securities licensing because just the credibility behind it, right, for your clients, right? I mean, I don't want to just be called an insurance agent. I don't know about you guys, but I'd much rather be a financial advisor, right? So I think that is one of the number one reasons why. And then also credibility with your team, right? If you want to build a big team, you want to go regional vice president, right? You got to have those licenses. So, and people are going to, I think, again, it just kind of gives you a whole nother level, right, of even leadership that you've gone out and gotten those licenses as well. So for clients and for your team, kind of everything, right? But yeah, that's what I did.
I love it. I love it. Yes, being an example, having credibility, and you needed to get your RVP. Jerome, how about you, buddy?
Yes, sir. So those are great responses. It's so funny. Like Kia and Cass and myself, we didn't talk about answers. I wrote down 3 answers because I knew it was 3 of us on. And Kia hit the first one. You fully service your client. Cass, you literally hit my 3rd one. That was my 3rd answer. Was people take the securities license a little bit more serious.
Primerica
You're more of a professional, right? People take you more seriously. So the answer that I'm going to give you guys, my second one that they didn't touch on, and I know I'm going to sound like the bad guy on here, but sound bad. But hey, you leaving money on the table. You leaving money on the table without a securities license, man. I and Kia kind of hit on this. We got to our securities license a little bit later than we should have. Great job, Cass. Cass has gotten hers pretty quickly, but you leave money on the table, right? That income adds up over time. You helping people set up monthly savings plans, rolling over money and getting paid on a quarterly 12B1 fees, which you will learn in your security studying. Ask your upline what that is. But like, it's so much money that's left on the table. Now, listen, we're still gonna help those people because you should be taking that business to your upline still to make sure those people don't be that person because you're not licensed, you're not helping somebody. That's not be that. Like, hey, I always thought here early on when I was taking, forever to get my license. Like, hey, people shouldn't suffer because Jerome's not getting done what he's supposed to get done, right? And some of you will do that. Some of you will hold people up on their progression in life because you're like, oh, I don't got my license yet. I'm gonna wait. Like, no, go and help those people. We'll get those clients back up under you once you get licensed. There's paperwork to do that. But that was one of my thoughts, man. We just leave money on the table. So we don't want to leave any more money on the table. Go get that securities license quick.
Yeah, great answer, Jerome. Great answer. You guys definitely covered all the bases there. The one thing I will also add to that is, we sit down with clients and we help them with so many solutions for their finances. And, the one thing that I know that everybody universally wants to do is retire when they want to retire and have the money to do what they want to do in retirement, right? And so you got to talk to people about investments, because who would not want to learn how to retire 5 or 10 years sooner than 65, 70 years old? Or, who only wants to have a couple $100,000 in retirement, which they basically can't do anything with, right? So great job, guys. All right, so this time I'm going to start off with you, Cassandra, and we're gonna go the other way here. So when you're talking to a prospect about investments, how do you bring that up? Is it a natural conversation? What are you doing to kind of figure out what they have investment wise, or how to help them with investments?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think that, especially if we're just starting off with a KT, I think it's just kind of a natural progression into that, right? It's not usually like the very first thing that I, start talk about who we are as a company, et cetera, give them a little bit of education, yada, yada. And when we get into the part where we're going to do a financial needs analysis, that's when I just start to collect data from them. And that's when kind of the information truly comes out about where they're at with their finances. But I would say if you're maybe just out and about and, prospecting, or you're just having a casual conversation with somebody, just by kind of being real with them and saying, how do you feel about, are you on track for retirement, right? Do you know your financial independence number? No one ever knows what that is, right? And so, yeah, KT is kitchen table. Sorry, that's basically like the first appointment we go on with potential clients. But yeah, so those are a couple of things I would say, while prospecting, but really just kind of get right into it once you get into a financial needs analysis. So.
Yes, excellent. Guys, financial needs analysis is one of the greatest financial tools that we can offer to somebody. It's super easy to do. You can even, so talk to your upline about it. If you haven't done one for yourself, it's a great opportunity to kind of see how it works and put yourself on a plan as well. Kia, what about you? So how do you bring up investments or investing in conversations with prospects?
Well, Jeff, it's all about questions, right? So the more questions you ask, the more information that you get. And I always start out with, what do you want to get out of us meeting today? And so when they say, I want to do better with my money and finances, then it automatically leaves the door open. So if I'm able to show you a way for you to be able to have what you want in the future, and a quick and a direct blueprint for you to get there, would you be open to learning how? And when I give you that, will you follow it? And so once they're like, absolutely, then it just automatically leaves the door open, right? And so from there, I just, you just always have to make sure that we're doing the best job for our clients and making sure that we ask the right questions at all times in order to get them what they want. But that always opens the door when it comes to investments. And most people want more. What I've come to see, in having the license, is that people are willing to talk about retirement and investing. It's like a buzzword, right? Everybody wants to know about that, and not necessarily about the insurance. So sometimes you can even lead with the investment portion, but we still make sure that we buy term and invest the difference. And so we still talk about the entire thing. And then another thing is that you can ask, depending on who your RVP is and what tools you have. Like for myself, I use a tool called Money Sherlock, in which then that way it allows me to be able to get those questions answered on the back end, because it's a diagnostic tool. So it kind of shows me where they are financially. And then from there, we can implement those things.
Excellent. Excellent. Take what you said, ask questions. That's the key in everything in our business, no matter what we're doing. Jerome, what about you, brother?
Yeah, so what I heard from these ladies is that they're getting to the investment conversation through our natural approaches, right? And all of your regional vice presidents have structured our processes and systems to get to the investment conversation. One of the things that I'll mention that I got from this question, though, Kia, you mentioned the buzzword, like, hey, like people mostly, they'll talk to you quicker about investments than they would insurance, And Cass, you were Cass did a talk a couple days ago on our serious part-timers and full-timers call. Man, she gave like a list of like 15 questions to ask. I mean, I'm talking about like just like professional stuff. Like Cass, if you can drop that somewhere for the group here, that'll be awesome. But so with those two things, what I thought about was, and something that I've done just recently, is posting to my social media about Primerica's stock, It's not a solicitation to buy or sell our stock, by the way. I make sure I say that so I don't get in trouble by compliance. I've been on compliance radar a few times. I don't want to be on there again. But so I've been in so many conversations from posting our stock about investments. It was kind of shocking. I was like, oh gosh, like I need to post about how our stock is performing more often. People like, you know about it. They're messaging me, inboxing me like, hey, you know about investing? I'm like, well, shoot, yeah, I've been licensed for years. So I'm starting to get some, generate some leads and some contacts and some conversations just from posting about our company and our stock and how we're performing. Kind of sparked up some conversations there. So that's pretty cool, Jeff.
All right, great job, Jerome. Just one thing to add on that, guys. So, obviously, as Jerome said, and the rest of them said, when you're brand new, you follow your upline scripts. We're meant to just get in front of people to show them all the good things that we do. But being a seasoned person like myself, most of my friends and family already know what I do. And I'm still able to bring up investments and conversations because I look for life changes. I look for things like when people get married, when they have a baby, when they change jobs, whatever. That's a great opportunity to say, hey, who handles your life insurance for you? Hey, are you currently saving for retirement? So if you've been here a while and you're looking for new things to say, just follow life changes and use that as a good way to introduce to that. Last question. We got maybe about a minute each to do this so we stay on time, but it has to do with, how has having an investment license improved your business or really helped your business? All right, Jerome, you're kind of, had your license for a short period of time. You've been kicking butt. You've been in front of a lot of people recently. You've been telling me about. Great job. I'm proud of you. So how do you see it? How has it helped your business? And how do you think it's moving forward going to help your business?
Man, thank you. Thanks to you, Jeff, man. Jeff has been my go-to. Jeff, I probably call Jeff like twice a week about some investment stuff, man. But he's been a ton of help, man. So thank you, brother. But for me, I would say it has added a level of professionalism that does not exist with just a life insurance license. I would think that would be like the biggest takeaway that I had. Hey, I got a life insurance license. Oh, okay, cool. That's cute. Hey, I got a life insurance license and I'm investment license. I can help you with mutual funds and the 401k. Oh gosh, you could like the whole conversation changes, right? So that would be that's the biggest thing for me is it's a whole new level of professionalism when we're out there dealing with clients. And obviously that leads to generating more cash and more referrals, et cetera. So yeah, another level of professionalism.
Great answer. Great answer. How about you, Cassandra?
I would say with retention of clients and even retention of new teammates, right? Because if you have a life insurance client and you don't have an investment with that, let's say, I feel like it's much easier for that client to kind of fall off, right? But if they've got multiple products with you and you're taking care of their money, right? That's really, really important, right? That's why we say every life insurance app should have a PAC. Right, a PAC, otherwise known as basically just an investment account attached to it, right? Because that'll keep retention as well as new teammates. Again, so when we bring somebody on board, we want to help make sure they have their plan in place, right? And so if we help them, let's say open a Roth, even if it's $25 a month, Roth IRA, that's going to retain them even as a teammate, and then turn them into clients as well, et cetera.
I love it. I love it. Yes, she said attach an investment PAC with every life insurance policy. Okay, you can be unlicensed in securities and still ask people if they want to invest. You just can't give them investment advice. So bring an investment person to do that PAC part. But close us out, Kia. What about you?
Man, listen, these were excellent answers, and so here's one for us as well: security. Right. So having your investment license brings a level of security to your business, because those that passive residual income starts to come really fast. And so when you look and, you might say, oh, well, I'm just started with the PACs or whatever the case may be. And you look and it's like $40 just comes out of nowhere. Well, that's $40 that you worked for on the front end. And now on the back end, you just continuously get. So it allows you to have that. And so as you continue to do more and more investments, then you can have that residual income that will allow you to stay afloat if anything ever was to happen to your life insurance side of the business in the short term, right? So yeah, security.
Oh, I'm so glad you brought that up. There's only two ways to get passive income and financial freedom here in Primerica. One is to recruit a big team, which Dan was talking about, and number two is through investments. I make enough passive income through my investments that I've already set up to pay my mortgage, my office, my cars, everything. Okay. It takes a while, but once you start getting that built up, man, it's fantastic. I think about 50% of our compensation that the company pays us is through securities too. It's very close to what life insurance is as well. Yes. Can I get a damn here with us? All right, guys, that's it for me. If you guys have your life licenses already, but not your securities licenses, I'm giving you a homework assignment to get with your upline and say, upline, help me. What's the plan to get a securities license? I'm already doing half the job for the client. I'd like to do the second half of the job. Get with your uplines, come up with a plan, and start working on that before it gets before it drags on. All right, guys. Now with me, I'm being done. We're getting ready to do some recognition. Come on, let's get fired up here. Let's recognize our teammates for kicking butt throughout the week and the month. And to do that is Regional Vice President Melody Cooper.
Thank you so much, Jeff. Wow, it's been a fantastic training so far, guys. I hope you guys are excited. I want you to get in the chat and show some love for all these people here, as they are getting recognition. Here we go to it. We've got personal recruits. We've got in fourth place with one recruit, Jerome and Melody Cooper, Arden and Natasha Hoxie, Dana and Malcolm Martin, Narose Camarillo, Jennifer Shelley. Number 3, Karen Stump with 2. Number 2, Jarrell and Jackie with 4, but there is only one. Number 1, Dan and Taylor Romai with 5 personal recruits for the month so far. Way to go, guys. Next, we're moving into personal premium. Personal premium, guys. So we've got your top 5 for you. Number 5, Stephanie and AJ Canada. Number 4, Jarrell and Jackie. Number 3, you heard from her just now on that panel, Kia and Margaret Fry. Number 2, Lindsay Wilson, but there's only one. Number 1, Dan and Taylor Romai. Let's move on to personal security. Personal security. We've got top 5 for you. Number 5, Jeff and Michelle Miller. Number 4, Dan and Taylor Romai. Number 3, Nate and Melanie Braley. Number 2, Tia and Margaret Fry, but there is only one. Number 1, Jerome and Melody Cooper, 23,000 in securities this month. Great job, babe. All right, we've got team recruits below regional vice president. We've got a top for you tonight. Number 3, we've got Jennifer Shelley, Dana and Malcolm Martin, Dan Burke, and Narose Camarillo with 1. Number 2, we've got Arden and Natasha Hoxie with 2 team recruits this month. But there is, as you know, only one. Number 1, we've got Karen Stump with 4 team recruits. Way to go, Karen. All right, we've got team recruits, regional vice president and above. Got your top 3 for you. Number 3 is Team Grind with 2. Number 2, we've got the Fearless Hustlers with 5. But there is only one. Number 1, and that is Team Redemption with 9 team recruits for the month. Way to go, Team Redemption. Let's move on to some team premium below regional vice president. We've got top 4 for you today. We've got number 4, Arden and Natasha Hoxie, Karen Stump, Dana and Malcolm Martin. We've got number 3, Stephanie and AJ Canada. Number 2, Kia and Margaret Fry. But there is only one. Number 1, that is Lindsay Wilson. Guys, bear with me. The music is Halloween. It was clearly queued up from when I did recognition last time. So anyway, just go with it. We like it. It's great. We're going to do the Monster Mash. We've got team premium for regional vice president and above. I see you dancing over there. Keep it going. We've got a top 2 tonight. We've got the Fearless Hustlers as number 2, and number 1, we've got Team Redemption. Way to go, Team Redemption. We've got Builder School registration. Guys, I don't know if you knew this or not, but coming in January, we have the East Coast Builder School. And I don't know about you guys, but I live in Michigan, and in January, it is freezing cold. So I would love to go to Tampa, Florida, which is where I'll be in January. to check out this 6 months worth of training over 2 days. Guys, if you have not registered yet, I'm going to throw that registration up in just a second here, but we want to recognize the top base shops who are already registered. It's only November and it's not until January, but go ahead and get those registrations taken care of. So we've got the top 3 regional vice president base shops for you guys. Number 3 is Team Win and Team Grind. Number 2, we've got Team Phoenix, but only one number 1, and that is the Fearless Hustlers with 13 base shop registrations so far. Let's get registered, people. If you have not registered yet, go ahead and scan this QR code, and you can go ahead and get your tickets. The early bird tickets are $25 right now, but after the 18th, which I believe is or Sunday or Monday, I'm not really sure what day it is today, but they're going to go up to $35. So go ahead and get in today. Just go on and take care of that. Guys, we got some promotions and some new licenses for you tonight. We're super excited. We love to see people getting licenses. When you're getting a license, that means you're getting paid. So let's go ahead and get those licenses. Here we've got Jeremy Zettel, brand new life license. Throw some love in the chat for Jeremy. And we've got he was promoted. No, you're right, he's life license. I apologize, life license. Got another new life license, Amber Sutton. Way to go, Amber. Throw some love in the chat for Amber as well. Now we're going to get into the Stud Trophy. Guys, this is the coveted weekly award here, the Stud Trophy. This is the top personal producer for the last week. This is personal premium, so that's life insurance sales, and personal recruits. This is new teammates. We're growing our personal business over the week. So we've got a top 3 for you. First of all, last week's winner, let's remind everybody, was Calvin and Sierra Brent. Way to go, guys. Third place, Jerome and Melody Cooper. Second place, we've got Jarrell and Jackie. Way to go, guys. But there is only one. Number 1 the way Dan and Taylor Romine. Way to go, guys. Fantastic job. Guys, throw some love in the chat for all of the winners this week who got recognition, and I want y'all to work hard so that you guys can get on recognition too. I love seeing all the new names up there. So great, so great. Now it is my pleasure to bring up one of my oldest friends in the business. He's been around over 11 years now. Him and his wife, he love him so much. He's a brand new dad. By the end of this year, he's gonna make $500,000 just this year with Primerica. He is anything but average, and he's going to talk to you a little bit about that tonight. So please welcome Senior Vice President, near-term National Sales Director, Nate Braley.
What's up, team? Hey, happy Friday, and just an incredible job so far this evening. Jeff, I love the panel. If you guys aren't soaking up that information, you've got to. Jeff taught me so much early on in the business on securities, and really helped me to get licensed to increase that cash flow. I don't know if you heard what Jeff said, but that might have been, I mean, Key, you did a great job. Jerome, obviously, a great job. Cassandra, you guys lighten it up. But let me tell you a little takeaway from me when I heard Jeff say that his residual income is paying a majority of his bills. Did I hear that right? It's paying his rent for his office. It's paying his car payment. It's paying all these other things. Y'all, that's financial freedom, right? That's what you come here for. I mean, could you imagine getting your securities license in 15 to 20 years from now, having such a passive residual income because you helped clients set up their IRAs where they contribute monthly. So you helped them one time. Kia said it, you help them once, you get paid from it forever. I don't know many businesses or industries you're going to get in to where you're going to help a client once and you get paid from it forever. Yeah, I was talking recently to somebody about our mortgage side of the business. And it's great. It's another tool in the tool belt to have, right? To be able to help people get some mortgages. I'm excited to help some associates on here get into a new home themselves. But right, when I help somebody with a mortgage, that is a compensation, one time, one and done, that's it. And it's great. I love helping people save money on their home, their refinancing, right? I love that. But guys, that's a one and done transaction. You help clients forever with your investment license. It's going to help you forever. It's just, wow, I love this business. So guys, we're going to get into a little bit about an enemy called average. And I'm going to start tonight with a story. This the reason this talk came to me was actually last weekend. So this was you saw Welcome Home Isla, the baby. So this was weeks ago, but I didn't have a photo of the leaves in our yard. This is as close as I could get. But I was doing some lawn work with my dad. My dad's retired, and now he takes care of stuff around our house. I basically just pay him to be a handyman around the house, and he loves doing it. And we've had so many leaves in our yard, y'all. We have 2 trees, 2 that shed leaves. The rest are all pines. But yet our neighbors around us have like the most trees I've ever experienced in my life. And so we just get covered in leaves in our yard. And of course, we got to take care of it, right? So, my dad did the leaves 2 to 3 weeks ago, and we had like 25 bags of leaves. And he didn't. So we live on a corner house. For those of you that have been in our house, it's a beautiful corner lot of a kind of a busy side street, but not really, but then also a side street. So we've got a corner lot. And one of the things that, Jerome, it blew my butt out of the water. I watched my dad do the leaves. He did a fantastic job. But our boulevard, where the busy side street is, was covered in leaves, like just covered. And I didn't quite understand it. He kind of left. I paid him for everything. And then once he left, I saw all the leaves on the boulevard. So last week, he comes over, and I needed to get out of the house, right? Mel and I, we've been trying to get out, do some walks and stuff like that. But I needed to get out. So I said, I'm going to go help my dad with the lawn, And so I get out from the garage. And I haven't done, listen, I'm very fortunate. If you could pay somebody $20 an hour to do something, do it. Okay. I haven't done lawn work in quite a while. All right. So I want to go out. I want to get some fresh air. I want to help my dad out. So I go out, and he's like, well, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, Dad, I'm here to help you, do some of the leaves. He's like, okay. And I was like, I'm going to take care of the boulevard, because there's a lot of leaves over there. I don't think you grabbed them last time. And guys, it hit me like a ton of bricks when he said, why are you going to do the boulevard? I said, what do you mean, Pops? Like there's just a ton of leaves there. He goes, that's not your responsibility. I said, whose responsibility do you think it is to clean up the leaves on the boulevard, Pops? He goes, that's the city. The city owns that. I go, well, maybe in Royal Oak, but in Sterling Heights, they don't do anything on my boulevard. And he goes, I'm telling you, you don't have to touch it. I said, well, Dad, who's going to touch it? If the city's not going to come by and do it, who's going to do it? And he said, I don't know, who cares, but it's not your responsibility. And in that moment, Kia, it hit me like a ton of bricks. My dad does the least amount that he can. Now, I love my dad. You all know this. He is my why, okay? But my dad will do the least amount that he can. Now, see, for me, I want to set the standard in our neighborhood. I want the boulevard to be perfect. I want our neighbors to come down, driving down that street and look and go, wow, look at that house. It looks really nice. That may not be my responsibility, but it is my responsibility to the neighborhood to take care of our yard. Now, that's just one thing. I saw somebody early on the leadership panel that put it in the chat that was exactly right. How you do one thing is how you do everything. How you do the little things is how you do everything. And so it's no wonder why we have the organization we have, is because I will go above and beyond what is my responsibility, right? I might not be responsible for the boulevard, but I'm going to take responsibility for it so that I can set the standard of the neighborhood. But that's just one area of my life. I've always thought that area of life in business. Jerome taught me what it was look like to be a leader, right? I'm so damn honored and proud to be on a team here with you guys, with the Coopers, because they taught me everything. I used to show up to the office early because I knew that's what leaders did, okay? Because I learned that from Bank of America, but I brought it to Primerica. But when I showed up to the office, I saw Jerome and Melody Cooper setting up chairs. I saw them vacuuming. I saw them taking the garbage out. I saw them doing the little things so that the training could be great. So I would ask, what can I do? What can I do, Jerome? What do you need me to do? And he would say nothing. So then I just started doing what he did. I would just start lining the chairs up. I would start taking the guards out. I would take things off of their plate and I would take responsibility for it. You see, you become a regional vice president before you are a regional vice president. There's things that are done on this training that all the regional vice presidents do. Not really. Actually, I totally lied to you. Melody Cooper does it all. I mean, it's just unbelievable what she does. Melody, we're so grateful for you, right? To be able to hop onto a training and it's all ran for you. But how many people are reaching out to Melody saying, Mel, what can I do to help you with trainings? What can I do to take some things off your plate? You see, you got to be a regional vice president before you are a regional vice president, and eventually you will become a regional vice president. But you got to know yourself. You got to know your beliefs. So that was my epiphany. It came over me like a ton of bricks. Like, wow, I learned way back from my father on how to be a minimalist, how to not go above and beyond. Now, thank God I had some other mentors in my life that taught me later on how to go above and beyond and do what's not required of you, but to do what is called of you, okay? So where do you have thoughts that need to be removed? And then think where they're even originated from and remove even more of them. I've really been working deeply recently, actually, probably the last 6 weeks, 7 weeks, working with a counselor, psychologist, working on my mind to get rid of a lot of limiting beliefs that I grew up with, a lot of things that were in my mindset that were taught to me. And really, I don't even think they were taught to me. It was caught, because so much more in life is caught than is taught. Like, I want to be the greatest version of myself for Isla so that I can teach her, not just teach her, but show her what it looks like, okay? So let's dive in. Nugget number 1, if you're looking, this is the book. It's called An Enemy Called Average. It's literally $9 on Amazon. I'll probably put it in the chat later. But look, nugget number 1 is choose to be a person who is on the offensive, not the defensive. People who live defensively never rise above average. When you choose to live on the offensive, the atmosphere of your life will begin to change. If you don't like your tone of your life, choose to take the offensive position and watch what happens. Taking the offensive starts, but making an inward decision that inspires outward action. See, in the photo here, it says, rather than looking outward in an attempt to predict the outcome, you turn inward to your identity. You base a decision on who you are or who you want to be. You can change anything you want, but it starts with being aware, right? I love what Jarrell was talking about for those leaders that hopped on at 6:45, because leaders join early, right? First to arrive, last to leave. So the leaders that hopped on at 6:45 got to hear Jarrell. Jarrell would often call me and say, hey, what can I do better? What can I do differently? That is a player. That is a winner. And Jarrell is not an asshole. And what do I mean by that? Jarrell is somebody that just doesn't ask for feedback. He takes the feedback and implements it, right? An asshole is somebody who asks you for advice and then they become like offended by you. Like, I can't believe Jerome told me that I shouldn't do that anymore, right? And then they get offended. And now we can't coach you if you're offended. You've got to be aware of your inside and what you want to do. Nugget number 4, I love this. And take a screenshot of this, and I want you to answer some of these questions yourself. We can grow by our questions as well as by our answers. So number 4 in the book says, here are some important questions we should ask ourselves. What one decision would I make if I knew I would not fail? You know, I asked myself this when I came into Primerica. What's one decision would I make if I knew I would not fail? And my one decision was to become a regional vice president. And it was, if I knew I couldn't fail, would Primerica deliver for me? Guys, it's delivered tenfold. You've known our numbers, you see our numbers, and yet we continue to get cash flow. We're financially independent now. Cash flowing residual income is paying more than what our bills are, plus 50% of our money goes into our investment account. What's one thing should I eliminate from my life because it holds me back from reaching my full potential? What's something you need to remove? You see, if you're going to go up, you need to remove some things, okay? If you're going to do more of Primerica, you need to do less of other things. Like Dan, you may not want to tell them that. I'm going to tell you, you need to go all in. If you go all in here, Primerica will pay you all what you're worth. Okay, I'm telling you that. I gave up bowling. I was in 2 different bowling leagues. I was in dart leagues. I mean, we just did so many things, and I gave it all up. I gave it all up because I gave Primerica my all. For 5 years, that was all I did. It's who I was. People were like, you're so obsessed. And look at them now. You know what they're telling me, Cassandra, that I'm obsessed about? Golf. That's right, Jarrell. Golf. Because I went all in, I can now do the things that I want to do. It was for a period of time, a small period of my life, that I went all in on Primerica, right? I missed some birthdays. I missed some family dinners. I missed some stuff, but I don't remember those. The family doesn't remember those. You know, we had Mel's parents with us in Hawaii. I guarantee you they didn't remember the dinners that I missed some Sunday evenings, right? When we're taking them to Hawaii. I took Dad on a trip to Florida and Miami with the company. He didn't remember some of the birthday stuff I missed. You won't forget. You're just not going to remember the things you missed when you're providing for your family what you want, right? Number 3 is, am I on a path of something absolutely marvelous or something absolutely mediocre? Cool. That gives me chills. Like, just even the word mediocre gives me chills. If everyone in the United States of America were on my level spiritually, would there be a revival in the land? If I'm ungrateful for what I have, how can I be happier with more? Oh, that's a powerful one. Gratitude, y'all. You woke up today. We got to be grateful. Does the devil know who I am? I hope so. I hope when your feet hit the ground, that devil says, oh gosh, they're moving. They're moving. All right. Has failure gone to my head? Am I running from something or to something? What can I do to make better use of my time? Would I recognize Jesus if I met him or her on the street, or whatever your beliefs are? Who do I need to forgive? Wow, that's a big one. Forgiveness. Okay. Let me tell you a little secret here, guys. You gotta tread real lightly with your leadership, with your coaches, with your mentors, because what you resent, you will repel. If you start resenting people, you're going to repel people. And I'm going to tell you something, you got to be grateful for people. I'm so grateful for people. I pray over every single one of you. I'm so grateful for every single one of you because I want to attract more of that, right? What is my favorite scripture for my family, my career, myself? What impossible thing am I believing and planning for? What impossible thing? Look, if it's going to be, it's up to you, and that's possible. But whatever your beliefs are, your spiritual beliefs, for me is God. God puts the I am in impossible. I believe in what's possible. He's going to give me the impossible. Are you believing for it? Are you planning for it? Number 14, what's my most prevailing thought? What good thing have I committed to do that I've quit doing? How have the people I respect earned that respect? Woo! Am I known for the promises I don't keep? Wow. What did Jerome talk about in the leadership panel? Being a person who does what they say they're going to do. What would a truly creative person do in my situation? What outside influences are causing me to be better or worse? How old is my attitude? Does my reach exceed my grasp? That's a powerful one. Am I becoming ordinary? In what areas do I need personal development? What gifts, talents, and strengths do I have? What's one thing I could do for someone who has no opportunity to repay me? Folks, number 25 is one of the most powerful things that you can think about on a daily basis. On a daily basis, what is one thing I can do for someone who has no opportunity to repay me? I'm telling you, that is powerful. All right. And nugget number 5, all great achievers understand the value of controlling their time. Every one of us is privileged with 24 hours, but what we do with each day matters. Give your best to your most challenging situation. Here's a key thing, y'all: saying no. Saying yes when you should say no is one of the biggest reasons for wasting time. Don't spend $1 worth of time for 10 cents worth of results. The greater control you exercise over time, the greater freedom you will experience. If you have thought this, I'd give anything to be able to have 6 figures in Primerica, have be $1 million earner, become a regional vice president. I'd give anything to be able to. Then I'm going to tell you this, right? Adopt the 6x1 leadership principle. 1 hour a day, 6 days a week. You can accomplish many things in 312 hours in a year, y'all. I promise you, beyond your wildest imagination. Nugget number 8 from An Enemy Called Average is don't consume your tomorrows by feeding on your yesterdays. Get rid of the loser's limp that you're still walking around with. Whatever the past holds against you can be broken. We hold ourselves back by allowing the past to keep us from living in the fullest present and the future. Failure is waiting around the corner for those who live off of yesterday's successes and failures. Choose to be forward focused, not past. One of my favorite quotes is yesterday's the past, tomorrow's the future, but today is a gift. That is why they call it the present. And nugget number 9 from the book is the best time of day is now. Procrastination is a killer. When you kill time, you begin to kill ideas and directions that God has placed within you. The first step to overcoming procrastination is to eliminate all excuses for not taking immediate action. The second step is to be less busy. Everyone is always on the move, right? The mistake most people make is thinking the main goal of life is to stay busy. That thinking is a trap. It's not whether you are busy, it's whether you are progressing. The question is one of activity versus accomplishment. And I'm going to tell you about procrastination right now. I'm going to tell you about making sure you take today and take this information tonight and immediately go into action with this. Okay? Because what we have in front of us, guys, is one of the people that I am the most grateful for. My gratitude is at an all-time high. We stand at the shoulder of the giants. Not a single one of you, not 61 attendants on here would be on here if it weren't for this gentleman. He is a Circle of Champion member. He is in the Wall of Fame of Primerica. $2.1 million earner. The reason we are all here is because Coach Asad Faraj decided to continue fighting through, working hard, building an unbelievable business where you train and develop leaders. Guys, he's going to give you the game plan to finish this year strong, to get through the holidays, and to have the best fourth quarter you've ever had so you can finish this year and start an explosive next year. I am so honored to welcome on our coach. Let's give it up for the great Asad Faraj.
Hey, thank you so much, Nate. Good to see everybody. I am not a guest speaker. I'm like family to you guys. You're my grandkids, great-grandkids, and my wife and I, we often pray for you guys. We pray for your marriages, for your physical health, for your children. We pray that God prospers your business and bless every area of your life. And I'm grateful to every one of you for trusting us with your time and your opportunity. And we take that very, very seriously. So we're always trying to deliver for you the highest value training and every resource you need to prosper, succeed, and change your family's life for several generations to come. And never forget that. I was mentored by the late, great Virginia Carter. She passed away 14 years ago. And her children, grandchildren, and great-grandkids are still sharing about $100,000 a month of income that will continue for the next 100 years. And she passed away 14 years ago. Let that sink in. So first of all, I want to give honor to where honors due. Nate and the RVPs on this Zoom. So proud of you guys. You guys have an incredible leadership team. It's an honor for me to speak to you tonight, and I take that very seriously. So we're going to go ahead and just get started. At the end of the day, let me just open my screen here for a second. This message is this teaching. Can you guys see my screen okay? Thumbs up? All right, cool. This teaching is called Thriving Through the Holidays. Let me tell you what's normal. What's normal in corporate America, in sales, in many professions, is the holidays are coming around. Let's cool the jets. Let's pump the brakes. Let's chill. Let's relax. And we'll get them again next year. And how's that working out for many people? We're in a country, there's 100 million households and 90 million of them are not doing well financially at all. There's just no chance based on what they're doing. They can never retire in dignity, educate their children, get debt-free, live out their goals and dreams. There's no chance because of that thinking, So I want to go through this little training with you. Let me just, here we go, 1 second. Something's blocked on my controls. One sec, guys. Okay, here we go. All right, perfect. Okay, so let's talk deeply here. In Primerica, this is true as well. Let me back up a second. In Primerica, it's true as well. Many people in Primerica don't, they cool their jets, they pump their brakes, they chill and relax when it comes to Thanksgiving, Christmas, until after New Year's and get them afterwards. We're an organization that often has our absolute best months in November and December. Okay, before I get into this training, I want to share something with you, just an absolute truth. I believe with everything inside me that November is the third most important month of the year. It's your last chance to lay a seed for an incredible year-end finish, which is December, and a great start to 2025, which is January, okay? Super important. Now, I believe December is the most important month of the year. It's your absolute last chance to finish this year strong. And by the way, I'm a massive proponent of not letting time go by and waste it. Every day, every week, every month, and certainly every year is a gift from God. And what absolutely breaks my heart is when an entire year goes by in your life, and when it's done, you can't recall anything ever worth mentioning again. And how sad is that? How horrific is that? That 2023, 2022, 2021, 2017, 2012, there's many years in most of our lives we'll never talk about again. That should never be. So let's talk about how to fix this. So 98% of people do this one thing that occupies most of the hours of their day, and this stops them from being inspired to do the work necessary for a God-given dream to manifest in their lives. Let me repeat that. 98% of people do this one thing and occupies most of the hours of the day. And this one thing stops them from being inspired to do the work necessary for a God-given dream to manifest in their lives. The 2% spend zero to minimal time on that same one thing, thus investing that same time into productive activity that changes their life and the world around them. And what is that one thing? It's kind of like armpits. Everybody's got them, and it's called excuses, okay? Who knows that excuses and results can never, ever, ever coexist? Yeah, it's Thanksgiving. Yeah, it's Christmas. Yeah, it's December. And yeah, I got this going on. Yeah, we got family coming in. And all those different things, and they just throw up their hands and say, we'll get them next year. So it's time to replace excuses with reasons. Your reasons should be far heavier on the scale and have to outweigh your excuses, okay? At the end of the day, we're always weighing things in life. We always are. We're always deciding, because every day is a matter, every second of every minute of every hour of every day of every week of every month of our year, we're making decisions of what path to go on with our most valuable asset, which is our time. Your house, your cars, your money will never be your most valuable asset. You can lose that stuff. You can work hard to get it back. The most valuable asset we all have is our time. It's the only asset that we have that once we lose it, there's literally nothing we can ever, ever, ever do to get it back. So time is our most valuable asset. And by the way, everything good or bad that's ever happened in the history of planet Earth happens after the words I said to myself. What are you saying to yourself regarding November and December? Let's talk this through. Again, you can have results or excuses, but never both. So Warren Buffett said these words. He says, find out what everyone else is doing and simply do the opposite. You almost guarantee stuff. Like that's the masses and large are foolish. Okay. Masses do stupid things. If there's ever some kind of weird panic going on and everyone's doing something, look around at what they're doing and do the opposite. And you have a higher chance of staying safe, a higher chance of succeeding, a higher chance of whatever the situation is. Okay. Let me tell you about holidays for a second. Thanksgiving and Christmas. Holidays are already very emotionally charged. Here's what I'm trying to say. If you have a loved one who passed away one year in the middle of May, or in the beginning of August, or in late September, or right around Thanksgiving, or right around Christmas, okay, is a big difference. If it happens in some kind of part of the year, just a normal day, week, and month, you don't really call it. It doesn't trigger things when that time passes every year. But if you're just right about around Thanksgiving, right around Christmas, and every single Thanksgiving, every single Christmas for the rest of your life will remind you of that event where your loved one passed away. Okay, if you had a tragedy happen, if you had a divorce or a separation happen right around the holidays, it always triggers you. Holidays multiply emotions. That's a bad thing, but can also be a good thing. Okay, follow me for a second. Recruiting is emotionally charged. People don't join us logically. They join us and come to work emotionally and then defend the purchase logically and then begin to work and change their lives. So recruiting is a very emotionally charged thing. If recruiting was purely logical, let me give you a little hint. Primerica would save about $1.2 billion a year, which is how much they pay us. They wouldn't need it. If they could just send information to every household in America about why our stuff is the best, and it was just strictly logical, everyone becomes a client. We don't got to recruit. It's game over. Okay, but it'll never work. It can't work because people are emotional beings. Okay, everybody needs their Popeye moment where they say something like, I've had all I can stand, I can't stand no more. Enough is enough. Everyone needs that. And think about this for a second. How many people do you think last year, right before Christmas, looked around at their family, who they love, and just desired with all their heart to write a better Christmas than what they can actually afford? And it broke their heart that they couldn't deliver what they really wanted to for their families because they love their families. And they vowed and spoke, next Christmas, it's going to be different. Well, next Christmas is almost here. And what's different? For most families, just because of pure inflation and everything else, they're worse off than they were a year ago. They're worse off. Nothing's different. And so now is a great time when their emotions are heightened to deliver on the message of our opportunity, which is never forgetting what we sell, which is not financial products. We sell hope and opportunity. We sell freedom. We sell, and Art Williams, the founder of our company's word, a pot at the end of the dadgum rainbow. Let's talk this through. Now, first of all, anyone, as Thanksgiving gets closer, and by the way, this coming week is the last normal week of 2024. Then it's over. Then you have to have a set of different skills to prosper for the rest of the year. And if you don't know how to overcome the holiday objection, appointments will be hard to come by. If you know how to do it, you can't have time for all the appointments you will end up getting. Okay, so when someone says to you, yeah, I do want to meet with you, but it's the holidays, they're just talking reflexively. They know not what they do. It's the holidays, I just don't have time. Let's just talk about it in January. Okay, that's so easy for them to say that. And they think it makes sense. Nothing can be more asinine. Nothing can be more logical than they just said. Okay, so when you hear that, when you're trying to schedule an appointment, here's your response. I understand that. I get it. The holidays can be busier, family, friends, shopping, and blah, blah. But I want to just ask you a question here. If all successful people always do the same thing, and we should all want to become more successful, shouldn't we be doing what all successful people do? Because here's what every single financially successful person does. They meet with all their professional advisors at the end of every year to make decisions to end this year correctly and start the new year off correctly. Okay, let me put it in English for a second. As somebody who's financially successful myself, at the end of every year, every single successful person, they stalk and they hunt down their CPA, their financial planner. They demand a meeting to make sure they're making decisions to end this year correctly and begin next year correctly when it comes to their finances. And this whole thing, yeah, let's just talk after the holidays. We'll talk after New Year's. That's too late to make decisions to end this year correctly. So let's keep talking here. We're about to embark upon Black Friday, okay? Black Friday, as you know, is the day after Thanksgiving. So Black Friday, of course, the biggest shopping day of the year to shop for Christmas presents. And it's all about deals, right? The sales and the blah, blah, and the lines and everything else, okay? Let me tell you what it's really happening. When Black Friday sales are, flung out there just as tall of us, what that's doing for most people is depressing them even more than they already are depressed. What good is it? All these deals, all these values, all these sales, if people are paycheck to paycheck. 78% of Americans are paycheck to paycheck. If they miss just one paycheck, they can't afford to buy a bag of groceries, pay for a tank of gas, or pay for a month of cell phone bill. All these great deals, great sales don't do them any good. They just depress the heck out of them. And what a great time to offer the two all-time best Black Friday specials, which is also happening to be available 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And here's what they are. The second greatest holiday deal. And what I'm trying to say to you is you should, on Black Friday, should be and that Saturday after it, that should be the day you have more appointments in those 2 days than any other days of the year. Okay? Because first of all, are people going to shop? Maybe for a few minutes, then they're out of money. And what are most people doing for the rest of the day? Depressed. They can't take advantage of these 1,000 million emails they're getting about all these great deals and everything. Go on a cruise and go on a vacation and buy a car or whatever. All right. So what is the second best holiday deal this year and every year is to get a free financial workup from us, to get a strategy to pay the debts off faster, lower insurance costs for life, auto and home, free up some money to save, make some financial choices. And of course, the all-time best Black Friday deal is $124 to change your life. Okay. It's the opportunity. Are you kidding me? $124 to give your family the gift of a game plan to make more money. $124 for $2,000 of license, $124 to link up with the only company as a track record of more people making 100,000 a year, $250,000 a year, $500,000, $1 million, $2 million, $3 million more than any company in the United States. Are you kidding me? $124 to link up with the only company in this whole financial services world that only has 2 positions. Do you know we only have 2 positions here? It's not rep, senior rep, district. No, it's only 2 positions, owners and owners to be. And every single person is being groomed for ownership to own more for them and their families. Okay, that's a huge, gigantic deal. All right. So now, why should people, if people agree with you, think, yeah, maybe I will do the opportunity. Okay, let's start in January. So look, I want to equip you. Drew, I want you and your team to understand this. I want all of you guys to understand this. Okay, what's your response? Yeah, we can start in January. No, no, it's way more financially wise to get started in November, December than January. Let me explain why. Have you ever heard of an organization called the IRS before? Okay, well, the IRS is the most prejudiced organization there is. Not against skin color, not against religion, not against ethnicity, but against employment status. They're prejudiced. What does prejudice mean? To not like or like certain people based on a difference, right? So they're prejudiced against employed people. They're prejudiced against everybody with a job, and they favor people who are self-employed. That's what the IRS is. So if that's the game they play, you need to play the game to win. Let me explain. You see, self-employed people, every month, every year, they pay for certain expenses, and they have no choice but to pay full price, okay, on their cell phone bill, internet services, computer, paper toner, printer stuff, auto repairs, oil changes, office supplies, so many things like that. If you're employed, you pay full price those things. Well, if you're self-employed, guess what? Every one of those items become partially or fully tax deductible. That's like a 30% discount on stuff we spend money on anyways. So if there's a way to get more legal and legitimate tax deductions, do you think it's more smart to do it in 2024, the year we're in, or put it off until January? Okay, if you sign the IBA now, it's a tax deduction now, you officially have a self-employment status, you officially started your own business, and now November and December's expenses for all those things I just mentioned can become partially or fully tax deductible, and that's a big deal. Moving on, December is a great month to catch up with certain people, and I say November and December because there's a Thanksgiving break and a Christmas break, with who are off from work. So everybody in the school system, okay, teachers, bus drivers, everyone who works in any capacity of school are going to get time off for Thanksgiving and Christmas. What a great time to approach them, because normally they're very busy. Okay, students, they get time off during Thanksgiving and Christmas. Let me just tell you why you should especially prospect college kids. Okay, here's why. First of all, they're coming out of college, most of these kids, with mortgages but no houses. It's called student loan debt, right? It's breaking their backs, financially speaking. And when it comes to students, guess what? Every student in America, I don't care what they're majoring in, they've got two jobs. One job, get decent grades. Second job, build up the resume. Okay. What are they doing to build the resume? They're working as a bartender. They're working cutting grass. They're working shoveling snow. They're working a painting job. They're working as a waitress or whatever. That doesn't look fantastic on a resume, but you know what does? Financial service licenses, doing a financial analysis on prospective individuals and couples to help them the strategy, how they use like really cool words and resumes. Well, you know what I'm talking about. Okay. How about corporate workers? I used to be in corporate America for a very short time, for 4.5 months as an engineer. I remember what December was like. It's like you show up late at around 10 o'clock, the conference room was full of cupcakes and cider and all this like sweet stuff and nuts and whatever. Everyone kind of hung out and talked and slurped on hot coffee. Everyone went home around noon or 1. That's what it was like in some corporate America scenes. So, and then factory workers, I know in Michigan or wherever they have factories around the country, a lot of factories have what's called shutdown. You see, factory workers can't take time off whenever they want, because the factory needs every person on the line to do their part of their job. So they like to have shutdown at the same time and give everyone the same vacation time. So guess what? Every December, they have what's called shutdown. A great time to approach them, right? Okay, how about another aspect of why you should do incredibly well in November, December? Anybody on the Zoom know any small business owners? Well, guess what? Every single small business owner right now, they're racking their brain trying to think of what can I do to provide my employees a year-end gift, a year-end bonus, a year-end something. And they're not swimming in money right now. So you can solve that problem for them. You can say, let me be a hero for you. Let me come in and make you a hero actually for your employees and say, thanks to the generosity of your employer, everybody's getting 2 free gifts from your employer. One is everyone receives a free financial workup. I name this, go ahead and name things that it helps in business. I name this our Ben Franklin campaign, which I made up. And here's why. What every employee thinks they need is give me more pay raises. What every employer is saying is, I ain't made out of money. I don't have unlimited cash to give you raises. And Ben Franklin said, a penny saved is a penny earned. So if we show these employees how to pay less for insurances, get out of debt faster, free up money, it feels they got a raise, but didn't cost the employer a nickel. And second is a free benefit we provide. No one else offers it. 90% of small businesses have no benefits whatsoever. Now they can offer one. And it's called a payroll deduction plan, and just allows employees to save money towards anything. They can save for a car, save for a house, save for a trip, save for Christmas, save for their kids' college, save for their retirement to a Roth IRA. They can save for their spouse's Roth IRA through their paycheck. Even their spouse is not worth there. It's pretty cool. Yes, that's something we can do all day long in the end of the year, and it makes more sense in the end of the year than it does any other time, because they're already thinking, what am I going to do for my employees? Okay, let me tell you a quick story. There's a guy in our company named Hector Lamarck, and he still is a legend. Okay, makes $3-4 million a year, but the story goes like this. Hector Lamarck he was working his butt off as a jewelry store manager, making at the time good money. He was making $80,000 a year back in the early 80s when that was a lot of money. And he was making $80,000 a year. And he worked like 7 days a week, like a dog, 12 hours a day. And his son was turning 5 years old. He wanted to throw his son an awesome birthday party. He told his boss weeks in advance, I'm taking that day off. It's my son's birthday. I'm taking that day. I'm telling you, I'm not coming that day. Well, sure enough, the day before, okay, I'm going back up. For months and months, and probably about 2 years before that, some guy from Primerica was randomly calling Hector here and there saying, hey, are you ready for the opportunity? No, just, call me back next month. And he just kept on putting it off, calling back next month. Then all of a sudden, it's time for the birthday. The day before, sure enough, the boss called and says, Hector, I need you to work tomorrow. I can't work. Hector, you're working tomorrow or you're fired. I need you to work tomorrow. You're working tomorrow. I don't care about your son's birthday. You have to work. All right. And that day, that guy called. Hector's like, shut up. I'm coming full time. And he didn't, I don't know how much he knew about the opportunity even, but he didn't enjoy his son's birthday party. He never went back to that job. And he made like 80 his first year, 440,000 the very next year, 890,000 next year, and today $3-4 million a year, doing incredible. So all that to say, he was super emotionally charged when the call came in because of his son's birthday party. Well, that's his son's birthday party. Okay. You know what Thanksgiving and Christmas is, and the shopping and the gifts and blah, blah, and the pressure moms and dads feel to deliver their family is like, it's all their kids' birthday parties every December. And they feel that pressure. And it's a great time to call, especially when they can't deliver. He couldn't deliver because of time, okay? Most families can't deliver because of money. Either way, it caused the same thing. So December is the most important month of the year to finish strong, as I mentioned, and lay a foundation for next year's harvest. I know what you're thinking. December makes you think of 4th of July fireworks. I knew it. Anyway, just kidding. But just pretend for a second it makes you think of 4th of July fireworks. Whenever I watch fireworks around the 4th of July, I don't know if anyone can relate to this. I don't give a rip about like the beginning or the middle. The entire time I'm like, cannot wait for the grand finale. And here's how I roll. If the fireworks were really good and the grand finale was no big deal, the whole thing sucked. If the fireworks is kind of bad, but the grand finale was awesome, the whole thing was awesome. To me, it's all about the finish, okay? And that's how I want you to be about November, December. So now, what is your capacity to finish? I'm going to lay it out like this with some truth. There's a guy you may have heard of in history. His name was Jesus, okay? And he had a 3-year run in his father's business. And he did pretty darn good in 3 years. Now, it was honestly quite spectacular for a 3-year run. In 3 years, he healed sick people, blind, deaf, and lame. He raised the dead. He walked on water. He calmed storms with the power of his spoken word. Okay, it was incredible. The 3 years, like, how could you top that? And of course, he finished and he tapped it. And how did he top it? In one swift act. He forever conquered sin, death, and the grave by dying for our sins and rising again. Okay, what 3 years when some people thought he couldn't top it, the finish was literally out of this world. And I've got good news, is that same finishing anointing that's in Christ lives inside of us, and we can finish strong as well. So I hope this helped you guys in your outlook and your perspective toward November and December. I just want to really encourage and challenge every one of you to really take this for what it's worth and realize it is absolutely time to rein in on our desire to stop holding our family hostage. I'll close off with just one story. A story, nothing gets you to think more than the story to me, because everybody expects a different response than how it actually ends up. So it's a very short story, but listen for a second. There's a guy, a young man, walking on a beach. He looks, and as far as his eyes can see, up and down the beach, there's like hundreds of thousands, maybe a million starfish on the sand dying. He's flinging them in and saving one. And one person cheered for him from the boardwalk and said, hey, way to go, young man. Way to go. You're saving some of those starfish. Good job, young man. I'm proud of you. And another guy yells, what difference do you think you're making? Look at all these starfish. And the young man picks one up right in front of him, flings it in the ocean, says, I made a difference for that one. And then more people cheer. And most people think, what a great young man. That's not how we should look at that story. Okay, it's not what a great young man. It's who raised that man and what in the world, who in the world taught him how to think so wrong? What do you mean he's out there throwing starfish in? If he was trained right, if he was coached right, if he was taught right, if he was raised right, what he should have done as soon as he saw a starfish is run off to the boardwalk and go find 10 people as fast as he can. And so listen, guys, there's like 1 million starfish dying. We can save them. I just need you each of you 10 people in the next 3 minutes to go find 10 people each, and then ask them to find 10 people each. And in the next 10 minutes, let's get to the beach and start saving those starfish. Within a matter of 10 to 15 minutes, he could have had hundreds and hundreds of people there throwing starfish in, and then he would have made a difference. What was wrong with him thinking it's okay for just one person to walk around throwing starfish in? That's how I need you to look at this opportunity, okay? America, what drives me every day is the fact that in America, 90 million of the 100 million households are broke, busted, disgusted, can hardly be trusted, and they're getting sick and tired to levels they never thought even possible. Yes, any pastor, any priest, any rabbi, what would they guess is the #1 cause of marital distress and divorce? They'll tell you it's fighting about money and finances. The American Medical Association is the #1 cause of migraines, ulcers, high blood pressure, diabetes, heart attacks, strokes, even suicides is stress. And the leading cause of stress is money stress. We have to heal and minister people. And they're their second biggest hurt. I believe their biggest hurt is they need Jesus, but that's me. But their second biggest hurt is financial. And nobody, and I mean nobody, can give them better answers, solutions, and strategies that change their lives forever than you guys can. Take that responsibility seriously. Decide that in November and December, you're not only going to change your life, but change lives and make an impact on many other people's lives because of what you just learned tonight and how your mentality should be. Thank you so much for giving me the time. I don't want to go too much over. God bless you guys. Great being with you.
Assad, thank you so much, man. You just changed everybody's lives again, yet again, every time. Guys, put it in the chat. Give some fire to Assad. He came off of a flight and got home and rushed on to be on this call with us. That is somebody who goes above and beyond what they say. And man, we're just so honored and privileged to be with you, Assad. Folks, you know what you could do to give Assad back and say thank you so much? It's take this and put it into action. Do the things we talked about tonight and don't be an asshole. Go put this into action and have the greatest month end, year end finish you've ever had. Let's have an explosive weekend. Let's go crush it. Let's have an appointment setting at an all-time high because Assad just gave us the tools around working through the holidays. Let's go help some people. Let's change people's lives because Primerica's changed our lives. And Assad and Lois, thank you because you've changed our lives. All right, everybody, have an incredible weekend. See you later.